I am Tasha Werry, and I'm the Executive Director of Building Bridges to Careers. And how I came to be in this role is a long, drawn-out story, but I will make it a little bit short. There was a group that existed prior to Building Bridges to Careers that was called the Teen Career Awareness Initiative, and essentially they were also trying to work to help students gain experience to understand what their future could potentially be. And so I joined that group, and realizing almost right away that we needed to do something larger, something that encompassed maybe just was able to take advantage of some more resources. And so essentially myself, two folks from that group helped support me in the founding of Building Bridges to Careers. And so essentially we were an idea at first. We were an organized group of people that I was facilitating, and eventually it became an actual organization, and then 501c3 and location and what we have here. And this is we're 10 years into this now.
My name's Heather Miller. I'm the Outreach Facilitator for Building Bridges to Careers. I came on in January of 2020. I really enjoy networking with people and marketing and pushing good causes and good work. And so when BBDC was looking for somebody to step in and help with marketing and networking, sponsorship, I was excited.
I mentioned the Teen Career Awareness Initiative. One of the first things they did, the group in like 2007, 2006, that was started through Family and Children First organization, was to survey the seniors that were coming out of the high schools. If you have actually chosen a career path for yourself, if you know your plan, what was it that prompted that plan for you? And we've been giving this, we call it the senior survey. It's been going to seniors every year since 2006 or 7. And every single year, personal experience is the number one response. I had a personal experience in blank, which is why I chose such and such. Number 2 and number 3 are always mom and dad. So when we put experience in our mission statement, it's because kids are choosing their next steps based on personal experience. And so what we've tried to do, after that initial model, and then, the creation of Building Bridges to Careers, like I mentioned, trying to make it larger, Teen Career Awareness Initiative had a job shadow coordinator, which was, it was a grassroots effort as they got started. It was very, very part-time, 14 hours for the whole county. So realizing that we needed to expand upon that, that's when Building Bridges to Careers came in. So essentially, kind of a timeline. 2012 was our first meeting. Our first grant was 2013. The organization and meetings were facilitated on a regular basis for those first several years. Our first major grant was 2015, and then the location concept of the epicenter came to fruition in 2016, and that actually took place in 2017. So then 2017 we spent a year in the 2 rooms in the Armory, and that's where we vetted the concept of a small business incubator. And then it was 2018 when we moved into this building. So the realization that we actually had to become a 501c3 and step out on our own all kind of came to fruition with that. Since then, it just keeps mushrooming. So, it started small, but it started off of something that was, built grassroots. And from there, we just took it and just continued to build programs around the same community problem, the gap between education and employment. And so everything we do is built around our mission statement. We will write grants, we will connect with other people and businesses and partner with people to help us achieve our mission. And some people might even question, well, a small business incubator, what's that got to do with your mission? Well, we created it so that students can be involved. If you're going to teach entrepreneurship to students, how you're going to see it, touch it, feel it if you're not hanging out with entrepreneurs? So we created a small business incubator which has dual purpose. We are now supporting the community. We're now supporting community adults who want to build their own business, but in our own way, we're having them give back to the community by allowing students to job shadow, to internship, to allowing, the direct connection to local students. And so we're creating a relationship with the students to those adults, creating a social network for them that they can come back and utilize at any point that they want to. And they're starting to do that. They are actually starting to do that. I have people reach back out to me, students. Oh, I did a job shadow with such and such in your small business incubator. Are they still around? Can I come back? So putting those pieces in place for students allows them to have something to draw upon from their past. You know, hence personal experience. So it all just keeps coming back to that personal experience. So there's a very, strategic reason that word is in our mission statement. So we want to foster the relationships, and how do you create relationships? You have to give people the experiences with that or with each other in order for that to happen. I love this organization because it does, what it has set out to do. It's actually accessing lots of different students and providing them some real experiences, and in a lot of cases changing their lives. So ultimately, as a former teacher myself, one of the things I became frustrated with was being able to get students out and have real personal experiences around the things that they needed to learn. And then as a teacher, trying to help them learn these pieces, but then also connecting to adults that can help support them in a wide variety of ways, in the ways in which I cannot support them. We make an assumption that teachers can support 100% of the students in their class in the same way, and that's not the case. So my underlying kind of goal for this work was to find as many adults possible that could support students in different ways. And when you're talking about careers, people always have something to say because they have careers. So that seemed to be a way in which I could encourage more adults to take initiative to be in students' lives. And then what ended up happening is, my goodness, then students were, having their lives change, their future pathways change, because they were actually getting the experience that they needed to make decisions. So this organization actually does what it was designed to do. That's my favorite part of it.
It works.
It works.
My favorite part are the people. I love the coworkers that I have and the culture that we have here. It's very creative and organic. We are responsive to community needs. As our responses change the needs positively, we change to better meet the new needs. Also externally, I love being able to go out and talk to other people about the work we do and the students we're working with and the educators and the schools and the businesses. And then, of course, we're impacting people, right? We're impacting our students to be more successful. We're impacting our businesses to be more prosperous, and our communities, not just here in Marietta and Washington County, but we're now working regionally. We're now working nationally with a couple organizations. And so we're impacting communities and people in communities. And so for me, it's all about the people.
Well, our board is very specifically designed to be minimum of 1/3 business representation, and then we also have a chamber. We want a chamber representative, higher education, K-12 representative, community organization, like government, could be government or something along those lines. Family Children First is represented. In fact, the woman that I mentioned, the Teen Career Awareness Initiative, the person involved with that was the director of Family and Children First, and she's actually the president of our board. So I'm still highly involved with the originator of that work. So the board right now is 10 members, and we try to make it diverse and include a member, someone from all of the different types of organizations that we need to be connected to. Anything else on the board?
We also value a young leadership perspective, so that's why we worked with the Next Gen program at Marietta College, which of course you were involved in, and we do have a student this year who's also on our board, a freshman at Marietta College. Her name is Abby. She's fantastic. So we really try to make sure we have a wide breadth of perspective on the board.
Yeah. And then our staff was the next question, right?
Yeah, so kind of like there's the board, but then on like general working, what's the breakdown between staff versus volunteers?
Okay.
And where do you kind of pull those from? Do they come to you? Do you reach out? That kind of thing.
So staff versus volunteers. Our work is primarily done and led and implemented by staff. Several of our programs do require volunteers, like the Career Mentor program specifically. We recruit community adults to take the training and come in and work with students once a week or so. And in terms of volunteers, I'm not sure that they fall into this category, but maybe they actually do. Everywhere we place our students in a job shadow placement, I suppose you could say that the businesses are volunteering to do that work, but I guess I don't put them in that category. necessarily. So the coordination of the job shadow program, the internship program, those are paid positions. The coordination of our events, of some of the other special programs, of the small business incubator, all of those are staff positions. And so I don't think we necessarily have the amount or volume of volunteers like some of the other nonprofit boards that we're more familiar with. I do understand there are some boards that are working boards, so they don't have staff, so when you're on the board, that means you do work for that organization, but ours is not necessarily designed that way.
We do have a couple unique things about our staff too. We have educator liaisons in all the schools who we do pay a stipend for their time and their talent, and they help us build relationships with the schools and with the students and with the educators, which is really important. We also utilize interns here at BBDC, not just getting them out in the community. So we have our student ambassador program, and they are our student interns. We also hire on interns usually from the local colleges in the summer to help. So we have a unique staffing structure of interns, staff, liaisons, and then our volunteers through career mentor, job shadowing, and internship.
Yep.
I always forget the content experts too. That we pay
Yeah.
for the makerspace.
Well, they're kinda-
Staff,
right.
Unique staffing.
We do have unique staffing. So we have full-time staff, we have contracted staff. There's a wide variety, from volunteer, you probably, if you think of it as a continuum, from volunteer all the way to, up to full-time staff. We've got pretty much everything in between. On a day-to-day basis, a lot of collaboration. And conversations. I would venture to say that someone outside of the organization, if they came to observe us for the day, they would say, all you do is sit in meetings, which is true. But this is the kind of work, when it's service work, our products are not tangible because we don't create products. You know what I mean? And so the work that we achieve is primarily done through the building of relationships, and that's done through meetings, talking, collaborating. Our staff meets in a wide variety of large teams, small teams, individually. We go out to other groups to have meetings with them as well. We facilitate conversations. We facilitate group meetings. So other than the obvious makerspace, as potentially you could be hearing some of the machines downstairs, that's a different story, but still, we have to involve the makerspace folks too in all of those conversations, because if there are adults that are coming through the makerspace, as Jared learns more information about them, they might be appropriate for some of the other programs in Building Bridges to Careers. So if we aren't able to stay on top of what each other is doing, we're missing opportunities. So that's primarily a lot of our work is done through communications, written, verbal, nonverbal, something along those lines. You want to add to that?
Yeah, we're network builders. So the
There we go.
majority of our week is out building or maintaining our network, bringing our network back into the work that we're doing, our programs, our events. I mean, obviously we have tasks that need done, but they usually get way pushed to the end of the day. So again, people. We work with people, we meet with people, we brainstorm with people, we bring people to people. That's the work.
We joke that we are partnered with everyone in Washington County, but that literally is true. Part of the reason we're partnered with them is because they employ people. Literally, we need every organization, every business, every public, non-public organization, government organization, community organization, they're employing people. So literally every single one of these organizations could potentially hire our students in the future. So we have to, number one, remember that. Like underlying all of this work, we are student advocates, and they might actually want to work at Job and Family Services. They might actually want to work in the city building downtown. So no matter who it is that we're talking to, if they're partnered with us, we have to look at them as the students we're working with might eventually work for you. So that's why we have to be partnered with everybody, because these kids could actually work for them. Secondly, partnering with so many different organizations, our partnership looks different for all of them, with all of them, because we want to coordinate our efforts, not duplicate. In some cases, it may take us months with a new organization to come, you just keep talking until you finally find like a common ground, and it's like, oh, this is the point at which we come together and it makes sense for us to do something together. Other organizations are completely obvious, and you hardly even have to have a conversation before you become a partner. like the school districts, for instance. Obviously, we need to partner with all the school districts. They have the kids, so that one is a more obvious partnership. But then, like our partnership with the Washington County Public Library, for instance, yes, kids go there, so do adults, and there's a wide variety of things that the public library system can do for the community. But in multiple conversations, because we're connected to everyone, we were trying to build and create a makerspace at the same time that the library was in 2016. We were just because that was when it was all coming to the forefront, the concept of makerspace, what have you. And somebody that we're both connected with realized this. They said, you need to talk to the library because they're wanting to start a makerspace too. So we sat down with the library, and the realization was, of course we can't have 2 makerspaces in one county. That's, with 60,000 people, that's just not feasible. So we worked out a great concept where we would be the staff. They could provide support in terms of, purchasing some equipment, things along those lines, which they did. Because when we first started, we didn't have any equipment, but we had the concept and we had the building, and so they purchased our very first 3D printers and the Cricuts that we have for the creative arts, and they're still a supporter of our work. And so that's an extremely beneficial partnership, and since then we've gone on to support each other in a more, wide variety of ways, marketing, just a wide variety of things that can come from that type of a partnership. So, we're partnered with everybody in the county.
Well, that's how I met BB2C. I came in, I was working full-time at Marietta College in 2012, and that was the year you guys came to one of the marketing classes needing branding. So
that happened through you?
Well, it happened through Ariel Jennings.
Oh,
but
right.
I sat in on that class, and that's how I met BB2C and learned about you.
Wow.
So, from the beginning, was the initial meeting at Marietta College too?
No.
Okay.
But we did our original mission and vision work was at Marietta College, yes.
Mission, vision, brand, logo, all came through Marietta College students back in
And
2012.
Parkhurst, yes.
Parkhurst catered
Our
Marietta
very
College.
first meeting.
So that's been, and you worked with Nonprofits Lead for years.
Yes, Nonprofits Lead, here's a little plug, has just, the touches with us over the years has just been the catalyst for a lot of different things. The very first Nonprofits Lead conference that we attended is where we met one of our current board members. We just met and connected and got ideas, that we didn't realize. At the time, there was only 2 of us, myself and a part-time person, and I wasn't even really necessarily paid to do this work, but I kind of decided it would be part of my work when I was still at Marietta City Schools as a grant coordinator for the school district. But anyway, it prompted us to pull together a fundraiser. We had an intern and did a fundraiser at the president's house. It was Bruno at the time. Diane Bruno was a great supporter and just really helped us out a lot. I mean, so from those initial touch points, then Building Bridges Careers actually participated in the Nonprofit Leads Accelerator twice, and it was actually the multi-tiered or more extensive accelerator that prompted and helped us build out the epicenter concept. And because of that is how we ended up with Pamela Langford, who is basically our CFO, for lack of a better way to call her. She's our director of logistics.
It was the Ice House training that you came to at Marietta
Even before
College.
that, it was there was Ice
about
House
entrepreneurship that led to the idea of the epicenter.
Exactly.
And
So there's touch points, all along the way.
Next gen students. Interns. We've had Marietta College interns all along the way.
Huge connection with the entrepreneurship program there at Marietta College, and Dr. Corsani. I mean, and prior to that, I was connected with Marietta College through the MC Squared Science Collaborative in my role with Marietta City. So they're just, a lot of different ways in which we've connected.
Our career mentor program goes every year to the college for the big field trip, and so we bring the middle school students on campus, and we have Marietta College students and faculty and staff help lead that. Is there anything that Marietta College hasn't done? We bring classes here to the Makerspace through their PIO program, through their entrepreneurship program. We've had our staff present at the Mid-Ohio Valley Entrepreneurship Expo guys presented at Nonprofits Lead Conference yet?
Yes.
So, yeah, it's been a really great two-way relationship. We've gotten a lot from them, but we've also been able to work with and engage with a lot of staff, faculty, and students.
We receive a lot of support, I think, in all of the above from our community. And I think that's what makes it easier to have a conversation with a potential partner, that you could provide time, you could provide your talent, you could provide, treasure. You choose. We're at the point now where we can go out with a menu of these are the wide variety of ways in which you can partner with us. Please make a choice. Whatever works well for you, we can accommodate that in some way, shape, or form. And I do feel like there's a large percentage of the county that does support us in one of those three ways. I don't. I think there's still some silos. When we first started this work, it was like, how do we break down the silos? I'm not saying we're not reinventing the wheel with Building Bridges to Careers. We're trying to bring back things that were lost, and we're trying to break down silos that were happening. Before Building Bridges to Careers started, there were some amazing things happening in terms of career awareness, career development, but it was, as a student, you might be able to or get to participate in it on accident. Oh, I had such and such teacher, therefore I did all of these great amazing things that gave me experiences that helped me choose a good path for myself. Well, that's only because you had that teacher. But the next person, the next student in line maybe did not have that particular teacher, so they didn't get that experience. It was random. And there were some definite silos of things that were going on. So it's like, how do we break down the silos so that these opportunities are opened up? And so I believe there are definitely still some silos, and those silos were like sealed up and compacted once COVID came along. So it's like we still got to break down. We still have a lot of work to do. We have to backtrack. We didn't have to give up completely what we were doing during COVID, thank heavens. We worked very hard to try to pivot and be able to do something and continue to work with kids and continue to try to get access to as many as we could. But we have a lot of silos that we still need to break down.